Hey everybody, it's Becky. How are you this evening? Today is Tuesday, August 22nd. It's 10ish in the evening, I think. I was just gonna come and do a little whip and chat with you. Sorry, I totally just moved the camera. Let me recheck things here. There we go. I think we're good there. Working on my cat-eared branded mystery painting. At this point we know it's a tiger. This is several years old, so hopefully anybody who wanted it to be a mystery, it's, you know, already completed it. I say it's several years old. It came to me, it was gifted to me by DP Crazy Lady. It had been given to her, so it's been through a couple of owners without being worked, so I assume it's a little bit older of a kit. I have not seen this one listed on the cat-eared website as far as this actual image goes, so I assume, like I said, that it's a bit older. But yeah, this is, it's I believe a 30 by 40 if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Yeah, so 30. Yep, 30 by 40. And it is square drills. There are 30 colors. And I am nearly done. I've got just this one little corner here that I'm working on remaining. Let me uncover so you can see here. So this area is where I'm working right here, and then I've got just a little bit more, not a huge amount left on this one. So this evening was my regular monthly Quilt Guild meeting, and we had a great time. Of course, those of you who have followed me for a while know that we just finished up our quilt show for the year, and so we were all pretty exhausted and decided to do just a simple no-brainer kind of a meeting. And so I hosted a bingo game, gave out some fun prizes, and just enjoyed the evening together without any kind of pressure or anything like that. So this week I have I went actually at about 11:30 last night. I left my house to head to the airport to pick up a friend. By the time her plane landed and she got in the car, is probably, I think it was somewhere around like 1:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning or so, which put us home around 2, and got her dropped off and settled back into her house before coming home myself. It was about 2 o'clock this morning when I got home. And then, of course, you know, after you've driven in a bigger town than what you're used to, although there was like no traffic because it was the middle of the night, it's still, you know, you're still very alert when you get home. So it took a good 30-45 minutes or so for me to wind down and be ready to go to bed. And when her and I chose that flight for her to go out to see her family, we thought, okay, I don't start work until 10:30 in the mornings typically, so yes, that's a late time to get back, but no big deal because I'll just be able to sleep in, right? Well, neither of us took a moment to look at the calendar and realize that today was our Quilt Guild meeting for the month, which means I swap shifts with one of the ladies I work with. so that I can be off work early enough to be on time for the meetings. Otherwise, the meeting would nearly be over by the time I got off work. And therefore, kind of wouldn't do me much good. So I swapped shifts, which meant I had to log in to work at 8:30 this morning, after having not gotten to go to bed until 2:30 this morning. And I feel like I slept fairly well for the most part. However, I was still exhausted. So, I can't complain too much. My friend has to be at work at like 7:30 in the morning, and she actually works in the public school system, so she's immediately dealing with teenagers the moment she gets to work. So, we were both kind of dragging our wagons this morning, but she had a great time. I'm so happy that she got to go out and see her family. She flew on Delta, which she was really, really pleased with. She recently had a hip replacement, so she's, she was cleared to fly. She's been back at work for a few weeks. She's doing really well. But of course, being cooped up in a plane for hours at a time is going to be hard on anybody, but especially somebody who's just had a joint replaced, But Delta did a fabulous job taking care of her. They actually upgraded her on some of her connecting flights, so that she'd have more leg room and be able to stretch that leg out a bit more. They made sure that she, had a wheelchair to and from the gates and all of that. So I want to just absolutely say a big old thank you to Delta Airlines for taking great care of my friend. We'll definitely be making sure that she books her future flights on Delta, as well as they took care of her. We want to make sure to continue on with them. So, this weekend, like I said, was our quilt show. We don't have all of our final numbers yet, but it was a really successful show, and I believe it was one of our biggest yet. We had huge attendance numbers, which I haven't gotten final numbers on that. But I know that I know that we broke some of our previous records, so I'm excited. Next month we should have all those final numbers and know for sure, how big our show was. And then of course every year we go and we present our show size and all the information to our city council. And they really encouraged us last time to make sure that we were, growing in our advertising to try to bring in, more visitors to our city. So I think they're going to be really pleased with the numbers that they hear, which they in turn reward with a grant, which helps us continue to grow our guild and grow our show and do more advertising and just grow bigger and better every single year. So, well, every other year, because we do our show on the odd years. At one of the neighboring towns, their quilt guild does an annual show, and we all think they're insane because it's so much work. If you've ever organized any sort of an event, it's a lot of work. So I definitely would not want to do an annual quilt show. That would just be way too much. As far as this weekend's plans coming up, we will be going up to the in-laws' house. You know, I put together the quilt basket gallery where people won gift baskets by purchasing chances to do so. Two of the ladies that won quilt baskets live up around the area where my in-laws do, and it's about an hour away. And so when I called them and said, hey, you won, they're like, well, we're already back home. Is there, you know, what do we need to do to get our baskets? And I told them, you know, let me figure out what the best way to do is. I said, you know, worst case scenario, you know, I'll just bring them to you. And so when I told my husband that, you know, I want to go to his parents' house for the weekend, he was like, oh, okay, we can do that. So when I get up there, I'll call those ladies and say, hey, you know, I'm here. Come get your baskets. And just meet them at a convenience store or at a restaurant or somewhere, wherever is best in town to meet up at. So I'll get those last couple of baskets out to people, and from there we're done for a little over a year before we start planning again. We did let's see here, what else do I have to talk about? I know I've been trying to catch up on videos from DP Crazy Lady and from Lazy Retired Granny. Granny, I've still got, I think I counted like 25 videos from you that I'm behind. I think the most recent one I finished was your emoji stickers. I think that was the last one that I finished of yours. So I have a long ways to go to catch up. I may skip around a bit because I really want to see your stash videos. But I'm still way back on like Willona. So I may skip forward and watch a couple out of order. But I will get them all watched. It's just a matter of, you know, getting sat down to do those, which I do watch a lot of them while I'm working. So I'll be able to hopefully get caught up this week. We'll see. DP Crazy Lady, I believe I am caught up on yours. I might have 1 or 2 left of yours to watch, but I'm pretty sure I'm caught up. And then I don't even know who else has videos out there. I've spent most of my work day listening to the two of you, DP Crazy Lady and Lazy Retired Granny. So those will be the ones that I'm most up to date with. My cat is weird. She came up to me, acted like she wanted me to pet her, and I barely started to reach my hand for her, and she meowed really weird and ran off with her tail puffed. So who knows what's going on with her. So weekend after next, we start getting into September the 1st. So that is when we will be starting Black and White. The horse for the September paint along, that's a Diamond Art Club painting by Deborah Lewis. It's a little one, it's round, it should go fairly quickly, but I am really looking forward to doing that one. It'll only be my second Diamond Art Club paintings. So I've done the one square that was the Golden Valley by Chuck Penson, and then I'll be doing black and white, which is a round. I saw a comment on somebody else's video asking, I think it was on DP Crazy Lady, where she showed her copy of the black and white. Somebody had commented asking if she had seen the new version of black and white. Like, they've reused that name on a new painting. And if you have not seen that painting, it's not my cup of tea. So, you know, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people out there that like it, but it's definitely not one that I will be doing. So I'll definitely just stick with the horse version of black and white. But as you are looking at the Diamond Art Club website, if you just type in black and white, you'll see the horse, which is still on there. It's on clearance for, if I remember right, like $15.99. And then there's the new black and white painting that's like a wolf. I don't know, it did not strike my fancy when I looked at it, so I didn't take in too much detail on it. So, but yeah, definitely make sure if you're painting along with this in September, the intention is black and white, the horse version. But of course, like DP Crazy Lady said, if you want to paint any horse or a unicorn, or even a black and white painting of another design. I actually was looking online with a friend the other day to see what she might want to paint in September, keeping on theme with black and white. And there were some really cool diamond paintings that just featured blacks, whites, grays, those sorts of colors. There was like some butterflies and things like that. So if you go on Amazon and just search black and white diamond paintings, there's some really cool options. And of course, you know, there's tons of horses and unicorns and those sorts of things out there as well, if that's more along the lines of what you prefer to paint. I do have my black and white canvas. It is out and ready. I actually got it out today as DP Crazy Lady was showing hers off. I got super excited and I was like, oh, I want to look at it. And so I did, and so I've got it out. I don't know why I just dumped those on my release paper and not on my tray. But good thing is the release paper just comes right up. And we'll put it right there. So this painting I'm hoping to finish, if not tonight, then in the next day or two. I don't know if I've got enough time to start another painting before September 1st, because it all depends on how my days go as to whether or not I get time to diamond paint. That's one question DP Crazy Lady, I believe it was, asked in one of her videos, is on average, how much time do you spend diamond painting? And for me, unfortunately, the true answer is not as much as I'd like to. But realistically, I don't track my time. I'm not one of those that, like, you know, puts a stopwatch to my painting. So I don't know really how long I spend painting. But not nearly as much time as DP Crazy Lady and Lazy Retired Granny, who, you know, of course, they're both retired, so they get to choose what they do with majority of the time in the day that they have. Let's see here. Do I leave this as one big section or do I cut it in half? I think I'm gonna cut it in half. So like I could probably finish this or get at least half of it done tonight before I go to bed. But like in the morning, depending on what time I get up, and then I've got some errands I've got to run, so I don't know if I'll get to paint in the morning before I have to start work. Today on my lunch break, I was exhausted, so I took a nap. That's one thing I really like about working at home, is that I can take a nap on my lunch break if I choose to. I don't have anyone pestering me like at my old job. If I had wanted to, you know, lay my head on a table in a break room, people would sit there questioning, you know, are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Do you need anything? And I'm like, I need sleep. Like, I just start to doze off and somebody be like, are you okay? So here at the house, I literally just go to the bedroom and lay down. And the cat may come in and lay on me, but, you know, I'm used to that. So that's the extent of people messing with me when I go to take a nap here at the house. Let's see. I think I'm going to turn this painting a bit. Bear with me here. Now you guys are upside down and I am sideways, but I think it'll be easier for me to see glare wise. So yeah, days like today I took a nap. Some days, most days, I take a little bit of time on my lunch break to diamond paint. Again, advantage to working at home. On my lunch break, I don't actually have to eat. Like, I can like snack on things throughout the day and not have to worry about, you know, stopping to take an actual lunch break. You know what? I do want to work this whole section because I am so ready to be done with this painting. Anyways, so will I finish this in enough time that I can start another painting? I don't know. Depending on how many days I've got left between now and September, or finishing this and September 1st, I might look at doing my Hua-Can painting that I got not too long ago. What was it, on Amazon Prime Days? I keep wanting to call that Black Friday, but that's not what it is. So I really, really would like to get that one done this year. So that will be my goal if I do get this one finished and feel like I've got enough time to work on another painting. If I don't get done in time to feel like I can do, that one's like a 30 by 30. If I feel like I can do like a 15 by 15, I do still have several that are crystal paintings, the little 15 by 15 pack of mystery paintings that I got a while back. And those go pretty quickly, so I could probably do one of those while I'm waiting for September 1st to come around. So we'll just have to see how much time I have left after finishing this one. Where'd it go? I'm looking for 2s. Oh no, that went totally crooked. There we go. So here in Oklahoma, our weather, we are still insanely hot. This week, our expected temperatures, we will be 100 plus every single day this week. Most of the time, our central heat and air system does pretty good to keep us nice and cool. But we do have issues like in this extreme heat that we're having. The system does struggle to keep up. It's just something that we're used to. We're used to the AC blowing, 24/7 basically. There's no turning it off. Even with it running, our thermostat we set to like 72. I'm looking at it right now, it says 78. It struggles to get below that this time of year. So I'm envious of DP Crazy Lady and her nice cool days and her rain that she's got. I told her that if she mailed it to us, I would just have my husband charge the shipping cost to his company's account at USPS. But yeah, we really could use the rain, and we need some cooler weather, but of course we're pretty well stuck in for this week in the hundreds. Next week I think it's supposed to get down into like the 90s, which is still really, really hot. So we just keep plugging along. Like I said, we're pretty used to the hot temperatures, but we are definitely getting hotter and hotter every single year, it feels like. As a kid, I remember us always having hot summers, and we would have ozone alert days where they'd recommend like you not fill up with gasoline on those days. They recommend you do as little driving as possible so that we're not putting off any emissions from the cars and things like that, to try to give our ozone layer a bit of a break. And I don't see those as often now as what I did as a kid. I don't know why. I don't know if our ozone layer is, has had some time to heal by us, not commuting as much on those particular days when I was a kid. But it definitely is getting hotter now versus when I was younger. So, another question DP Crazy Lady asked in one of the videos that I watched today was about celebrity crushes. So when I was a kid, of course, like DP Crazy Lady, I had a crush on a boy band, as we referred to them then. For me, it was the Backstreet Boys, and specifically Brian Luttrell in the Backstreet Boys. He was my favorite. I still love their music. I still love boy bands. One of my favorite groups that I go and see in Branson when we go up there is a group called Pierce Arrow. And they're basically like, they're basically a boy band. They sing older songs and some newer songs and things like that. But like, you still have like, it's 4 men in a group, and each one of them kind of has their own personality, and of course, they have different vocal ranges and things like that. So I have a favorite in that, which is Tony. I do love me some Tony Turner. I always want to make sure that I sit up as close to the front as I can when we go there. because he's very interactive with the audience, and like smiles and waves, and like you know, he really enjoys seeing the audience, you know, get really engrossed in the music. And then my husband, although he's enjoying the music, he has a tendency to sit with his arms folded and kind of a grumpy look on his face. Sorry, I had to turn my little fan around, get some air circulating my direction. Anyway, so Tony, this singer that I like, he if he sees somebody making a grumpy face and their arms all crossed and everything, he'll make a grumpy face right back at them. And so he makes fun of my husband a lot when we're there. So yeah, I'm bad with names, and so like for me to just call out, oh, I like this actor or whatever, is a little harder. But I do have several actors that I really enjoy watching. And my husband knows who they are, so if there's a movie coming out that he wants to see, he'll be like, oh, it's got so-and-so in it. And I'm like, oh, I like that guy. And from there, we'll make sure to go see it. But yeah, as far as music goes, I am a Backstreet Boys girl. And so she also asked what a perfect day would be, what our ideal day would be. For me, I don't know, I enjoy more temperate weather. I like it, you know, more fall and, you know, cooler weather. So to me, I'm always excited when the weather starts getting, you know, down into the low 70s and 60s. That's kind of my forte on weather. And I enjoy going and seeing new things. So any kind of a day where I'm doing any sort of a road trip and exploring somewhere new is always fun. When it's hot like it is right now, I like to explore caves. And there are a lot of cave systems that are, you know, surprisingly easy to get around in. They're set up for tourism. And so the thing about that is that since it's underground, it actually stays super, super cool in there. And so it may be 100 degrees outside, but once you get into that cave, it's like, you know, 60s and 70s, if not a little cooler. So it's a nice little reprieve from the heat. And you get to see some really cool rock formations and learn about the history of the different caves and if they were used by any sort of like outlaws or Native American tribes or anything like that. So really cool history in a lot of the caves that I've been through. I've been through some caves out in Arkansas, like Onyx Cave, and oh goodness, I was just looking at those the other day. I can't remember the names of some of the other ones. I'm sure Crafting with V, if you've been around those, like the state parks and stuff in Arkansas, you've probably seen a lot of the caves that I'm talking about. Whoops, wrong spot. There we go. It's amazing how much a 5 and an S look alike when you're not paying close attention. So my husband and I, our 6-year anniversary, sixth wedding anniversary is coming up here in just a couple of weeks. And my husband's like, what are we going to do for our anniversary? And I said, well, I mean, we're going on a cruise right after Thanksgiving, and that's where we chose to put our travel budget for this year. I said that's a huge thing, and that's what we're doing for our anniversary. I don't really feel like we need to do anything else big. And so, but of course he wants to go do something. So our anniversary falls on Labor Day weekend. So for us, that means a 3-day weekend for our anniversary every year. Unfortunately, that also means huge rock concert in our town. Every Labor Day weekend, they do a huge rock concert just a couple miles north of town, and town gets super busy and super loud, and it's just really not pleasant to be in our town during that time. And so we always try to get out of town. So I don't know, we don't want to go terribly far, but at the same time, you know, we want to get away. So that's why I was looking at kind of revisiting some of the cave systems over in Arkansas. My husband is he's not a big, like, hey, let's go explore caves kind of guy, because he doesn't realize that, you know, there's a lot of them set up for tourism, and therefore they're not like really tightly confined spaces. They tell you, hey, you know, the tightest spot you may have to squeeze through is like this big, or, you know, there's some areas if you want to take a moment and step off, you know, off the trail over to this area, it's a much tighter area that you can kind of go explore and give yourself a few minutes, and it'll loop you back to the tour. So I may see, like I said, that's one of those activities that it's nice to do because you can stay nice and cool. Of course, just as I'm putting those up, I see more 5s. Where'd they go? Now I can't see them. All right, point them out to me. There's one. I thought I saw a couple more. Yep, there's one. Anyway, so that may be what we end up doing over Labor Day weekend. We don't have anything set in stone yet, so we'll just have to kind of look at things and see what we decide to do. So anyways, I think let's see, how long have I been on here? Oh yeah, I've been on here for almost 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this video starting to upload. I appreciate you watching. You guys have a great night or morning, day, whatever time of day it is when you watch this. And I will talk to you guys later. I'll give you an update when I get this completed. See you later. Bye-bye.